The information was all out there. It wasn't difficult to get this story. It was just a matter of spending the time to look. What I've heard from other reporters is that it seems so obvious. Like, how could the military have these giant burn pits and think they could get away with it if there were really something wrong with it? So they sort of dropped the story because it was too blatant to be real. September of 2008, I received an email with a memorandum from Lieutenant Colonel Darren Curtis, who's an environmental engineer, Air Force environmental engineer, and it basically said that they're burning these huge amounts of garbage, 240 tons at Balad Air Base alone every single day, and that he was seeing a whole bunch of chemicals coming from them, and he expected that the soldiers and airmen were going to become sick because of it. Can you tell me a little bit about what's going on, or is now a good time? There were a bunch of people living in H6 housing, which is a mile away from the burn pit, and they were all getting sick, everyone who lived in this little housing area. Everything from neurological disorders, which have also gone way up since the wars began, to cancers, to respiratory problems. Some of the guys are coming back and they're no longer able to run as fast as they used to. And there was a doctor at Vanderbilt University who looked at them and he couldn't find anything on their x-rays or on scans, and so he actually did biopsies of 50 soldiers out of Fort Campbell and found that they all had bronchiolitis, which means the smaller passageways of their lungs were closing up, and he couldn't see it without the biopsy. And his concern is that people aren't going to get their benefits because they say that their lung functioning is bad, but there's no way to prove it without actually going in and performing an unnecessary surgery. We had epidemiologists look at the information and look at the different illnesses, and they were saying basically the numbers are jumping off the charts, and yeah, there are problems here, and even if it's not burn pits, there's something in Iraq and Afghanistan that appears to be causing problems. The Defense Department is saying that there may be a connection, but they haven't really acknowledged that that is the problem. The VA actually released a 32-page training letter asking their adjudicators and doctors to look for issues that could be coming from environmental hazards and to rate them accordingly and to call them service-connected accordingly, and then also to educate the veterans about what they might have been exposed to instead of expecting the veterans to tell them that they think that they're sick because of something. The byproduct of the burning trash is dioxin, which is the same thing they were worried about with Agent Orange, which caused respiratory problems and ultimately lung cancers and a host of other issues. So not only is this going to be an issue for our guys, but like at Balad, it's surrounded by farmland, and that ash is landing on the local produce, and so the local citizenry is going to be affected by this.